Alright, we are raking hay. It's a day earlier than I thought, but again, it's hot. It's going to be about 100 today. Sorry, got to make a turn at the end of a row. So I decided it's about 9 o'clock. I decided to come out here as soon as the dew was off and get this hay raked, and then see. I checked on it last night when Mike was tedding it, and it looked like it was going to be cured by today. So we're going to rake it into windrows. With this heat, any moisture left in the windrow will cook off now that it's off the ground and the dew's off and it's getting hot. So my idea is to get this field raked and then see if I can just go ahead and bale it, and then go bale what I cut yesterday without raking it, because I think the swaths from the mower are thick enough, and there's not a lot of because that field is so wet, there's not a lot of ground that I'm actually going to bale. I'm going to have to avoid places that I cut because it's just too wet, and it was not going to make good silage because there's going to be mud in it. But I want to get that done. I can wait till tomorrow, the field will be that much drier, but then we're talking about not having silage and having overcooked grass. So I want to get it as high in nutrition as possible. And we'll just see how baling goes in this stuff. This is more important for Mike and their livestock, so I want to get this done for them. And just see, hay is more critical because it requires being completely dry. Now, I'm using the, gotta put it in gear. I'm using the hay bob again, and actually in this fashion, where the hay's been tedded out all across the field and spread out evenly, the hay bob really excels. I mean, these windrows that it's making are really nice. They're nice and fluffy and tall. Of course, this is a heavy crop, so I want to. So it's doing a good job, but where it doesn't do a good job is trying to rake up the swaths right out of the mower without tedding. And you don't need to ted hay for silage grafts. It doesn't need, unless you're trying to get it all in one day, and you need it to really wilt down fast, then you tend not to ted it. It's just an unnecessary step. But for hay, you have to. You got to get it spread out. Got to get it so that the wet sections dry out. So I'm just gonna set to and keep raking. This is a weird set of fields because there's a big strip in the middle that you can't get to because it's too wet, and there's a couple of side arms to it. It's not easy or convenient, but we get it done every year. Two drawbacks to the hay bob are its size. It is small. It only rakes about 7 foot. And it's slow because it's small. I'm going in economy mode to try and save diesel because of how long I want to be in the field today without going back to the farm to top up. So yeah, it is small. But I can run it in economy mode. That's good. But the other problem is, because it's small, it places the windrows too close together. So I'm actually, in this circumstance, I can actually get away with pulling them a little further apart, because when they're so close together, when I dump a bale out, it's right up against the windrow sometimes. You gotta move it or go around it, and that just slows things down. It's inconvenient. It seems to be doing a great job. This thick crop. This thing is, it's more than a joke. I mean, it is a nice piece of equipment, but it's versatile because it's a tedder and a rake. It does neither well, but it does them acceptably. So that's kind of why I got it, as a backup and a spare. And because originally, when I was haying with the small tractor, I didn't want to have to drive up and back and forth on the road because it was horrible on the roads and dangerous. And so I wanted to be able to ted and rake in some fields all in one go. And that's what this allowed us to do. And that was, it was great for a couple of years that way. And now I decided to use it because I got rid of, in order to buy the mower, I sold that other side delivery rake because it wasn't performing well in wet grass. Hay, it was fine, but in wet grass, it was coiling the grass up too much, and that was causing problems with the baler, and the extra weight of the wet grass was seeming to stress it out a lot. I was breaking a lot of tines, so I just decided that wasn't the way to go. And I already had this, so I figured I could pause and use this for a little while, but I really need to get a bigger rotary rake that can make a decent windrow. Even these windrows are a little small for the baler, but it'll handle them just fine. I just got to be careful about getting the bales started. But the baler's hungry. It really likes a big wide windrow, which this isn't making. I chose to get these windrows tall and narrow rather than wide and flat, just because they will compress and possibly blow down throughout the day. And so this also gets the grass off the ground and allows it to dry as best as possible. Oh, the other drawback to the hay bob is that it needs to, you can only go, unless you pick it up off the ground, you can only go counterclockwise with it. Now, fortunately, this tractor is great at being able to turn the PTO off every time I lift the implement off the ground, so it's not sitting there running. And I can pick it up at the end of the rows and turn and go, but when you're just raking like around the perimeter, you can only go counterclockwise, which isn't always convenient in places. All right, I gotta focus on what I'm doing. Back of the yard, filling up with diesel. I didn't go bale a second field. It got too late. I finished baling Mike's field at 3:30, and then I hung out there with him while he used hay spear for the first time and showed him how to stack the bales on their side and get them in his barn. Hopefully it's all good dry bales. The bales came out beautiful. They were tight, gorgeous color. Nice looking hay bales, and the hay, the grass was crispy when I went to bale it. So I hope the humidity didn't make it damp or anything. I would have liked to have seen the bales spread out a bit more to cook off any moisture, but they'll be in the barn. They'll cure. I probably got the bales a little denser than hay bales should be, but this thing packs them in so good, and the windrows were just perfect. I did plug the baler a couple times. I had some issues. The feed roller, the feed auger, I hit a rock the other day and bent some of the guards, and they caused a shear bolt to break this morning, and then I broke another shear bolt, so I had to make some adjustments. We had to do some bending of some tin. Once we did that, that worked. The knotter gave me, the string tie gave me a fit a couple of times. I don't know why. Guess it just didn't feed right once or twice. And the ground was wet. I almost got stuck once or twice. And the yeah, anyway, the field was bumpy. I could only go 5 miles an hour, but 28 bales, I think is what we got, 25 to 28. It's hard to say. I don't know. I had to read when I don't see the twine tie activate correctly, or something happens, then I fix it and then I retwine the bale, just in case it didn't twine the first time correctly, because I don't want to have a bale fall apart, especially when I'm doing it for somebody else. Twine is cheap. Better to double wrap it. Anyway, I don't know if it counts that as 2 separate bales, or I'm just fixing the twine. It needs to be where it can feed in. I don't know if it counts that as each time you press it as another bale. So I did that 3 times at least. So there's 20, 25, or maybe 28 if it doesn't count it double. If it only counts when you dump the bale. I don't know when it registers, but yeah, the baler worked for a few minor things. Tractor worked awesomely. Air conditioning was great. It was 90 plus degrees out. So, and with the humidity, it's easily over 100. So yeah, now here at our farm, there's a nice breeze. In fact, there is a little bit of a breeze over there, but not, it's just a little bit further off the water. Anyway, I'm beat. I wanted to go bale that silage I cut yesterday, but even if I had left right at 3:30, I still wouldn't be done baling it, and it's 5 miles down the road, so I have to truck it back here and take time, and I just don't have it. I'm beat. It's the heat's really sapped the strength right out of me. Because I did have to get in and out of the cab to check on the bales. I plugged the baler a couple of times. I was just going too fast. The windrows were too thick. I wasn't paying attention. The one time I plugged it, the feed roller wasn't working. I just snapped the shear bolt because something caught and broke. Had to send Mike for more shear bolts. Anyway, I'm gonna go soak myself in a vat of beer and wait for Allison to get back from town, wherever she's at. Pig, 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 pig! What, you all dead? Come on, pigs! I don't understand. This hut, I can pick it up myself. I just moved it. It's not that heavy. How did it end up on top of pigs? And how did they die? Been a bad week. A very bad week. We lost a very dear good friend and our entire herd of pigs, almost, except for 3 little ones and their piglet, one of their piglets. 3 little pigs, young pigs, and one of their 4 piglets. I'm in the process of burying them, or composting them as the rules require. But I first had to do a salvage operation because over there by that pile of stones is where the pigs were, and it's not easy to get in and out of here, especially with other pigs. So I lost 5 pigs this week. All adults, breeding stock. My favorite pig, Ginger. And this is a clusterfuck. I've got them out of the yard, all except for Ginge, and I still have to bury them. Well, not a lot of video of me doing much in the hayfield these days. I am just trying to get it done, and today has been a thrash. Got 7 bales. Gonna be a miracle if I can get them out of here. You can see behind me, this is that field that was wet. It's now 3 days later, it's still wet. Even with 90, 100 degree weather yesterday, 86 today right now, this field just didn't dry out as much as I'd hoped given it 3 days. I left a lot unbaled. I almost got stuck right there, over there. And one of the bales rolled way down. It was a miracle I could get it because it's in a swampy part. And I had nothing but problems with the baler today. This grass is tall, and I mean, it's beautiful. But it should have been cut 3 weeks ago. It was way too long, way too stemmy. I mean, this is beautiful hay. And I got most of it as silage or hay, but I have to leave I only cut 2 of the 3 acres because it was so wet. And I probably only baled, 3/4 of that because it was just rough. There was a couple issues with the baler, some problems that really need attention, but I don't know when I'm going to get a chance. Minor stuff, but they're all compiling, adding up. The mud plugged it. The thick grass got rolled up and bunged it. And this hill, and as rough as it is just a chug to get up there with a full bale. It doesn't look bad here, but it is a climb. And for whatever reason, I was struggling. So let me get in where it's more cooler. Anyway, I didn't film any of it. I kept getting interrupted. Plugs. I accidentally hit the wrong lever. I meant to pull this one. I pulled that one, which meant I had to stop and unload a partial bale. I was able to kind of rebale it. The big problem is all of this hay that's down now is I can't come back here and ted it because it's too wet to drive over still. And so it's going to lay there in the roads. It's going to be a problem if I get a second crop off of this. I'm going to have to just mow and bale what I did today basically and not do anything else, even if it's good, because 7 bales is better than nothing, but wow, what a thrash. Should have been 10 last year. There was 12, 16, I don't remember. A lot more than 7 from first cut, and then I got quite a few from second cut. So this weather is exhausting. It's been an exhausting week, and it's only Wednesday, whatever day. All right, I'm gonna get this home and wrap these bales, and I gotta throw the mower on and go mow a field, hoping to bale it tomorrow. And then I get a little bit of a break over the weekend. Well, so that is what comes from being tired. I skipped a wedge, probably a bale's worth of grass, skipped a wedge mowing yesterday when I was out here last night. I just don't know why. It happens. It's not great grass, so I'm not going to cry about it. It can wait till I cut it second cut, but I got here and I couldn't believe that I left a wedge of grass behind. That's what happens sometimes when you have an odd-shaped field. You end up, you mow parallel, you mow the outside, and then you mow parallel strips on the middle, and then sometimes you end up with these weird little wedges. There's 4 happen in this field, and I got 3 of them, and somehow I missed this one. Whatever. Well, another set of fields. I just baled that field I was mowing yesterday. The one I forgot about, that little triangle. And what a thrash. Not only was it start to rain, but the baler kept plugging in the intake feed because, well, there's issues. And I got to do some work to repair them. Take it out of 4-wheel drive, maybe. That would be better. Yeah, I didn't film any of that. I needed to get done. I wasn't sure how hard the rain was going to get. Fortunately, it held down to a sprinkle. I'm also really tight on time. I got into the field about 2:30. It's now almost 5. I thought I could bale that in about an hour, but no such luck. Field is rough, and the baler just kept plugging. If I went into 3rd gear, I just ended up with difficulty, so I kind of had to crawl through the field. I don't quite know why that was the case, but I do know there's quite a few tines missing on the intake feed intake right now, and there's some bent guards and some stuff from hitting a rock the other day that I didn't see. So I'm gonna have to triage that. I started to look this morning for parts, but I really don't want to have to buy them from the local cloth dealer because they're expensive and it's a trip. It's about a 3-hour round trip when I don't have any time. All right, long, slow hill to climb here. Anyway, I managed to get 8 or 9 nice bales, I think. I don't think there's 10. They look pretty good. They tied right. Everything else worked. It was just a lot of time around the field. Again, that's the problem with that little rake. I'm not able to get a decent sized windrow that the baler really wants. So it means I got to go around and around and around. And it takes a while to build a bale. That's right, I've got a little bit of a core in the baler that I got to clean out when I get home. We got rain. I spread fertilizer yesterday, and because of the rain, we got a little bit too much. It's not raining right now though, so it was a heck of a downpour earlier. I'm out here running field lines, or at least a field line, down this lower orchard section at the bottom of the field. We've been feeding silage for about 7 days now. And maybe, I can't remember exactly, but it's given the field a chance to recover. I don't know, all the excess moisture, the heat, the whatever, the vicious 100-degree temperature just stalled things out. But this lower section is looking great. The grass is still vegetative, it's coming along strong. Not so much in the compacted central area ahead of them. It gets a little better in the main field, and the far end still needs to recover. I'm hoping by the time we progress to the far end of the field, it's caught up. Grass in the forest is growing good. I need to get out and measure. I've cut all the silage fields that I measure, so I need to remeasure them for next second cut's growth. The cows have had access this whole time to the forest down below there, which is pretty heavily wiped out. I'm going to try and plant some millet seed there later today if I can. Get it growing. I do notice some of the areas I overseeded the other day, the millet's starting to show, hopefully. That'll take off. So we got construction happening, and we're going to pour some slabs. The slabs I've been talking about for years are finally going to happen because we finally had someone who showed up to do the work that I needed them to do because I can't get to it. And that's all it took. They were there for, 3 hours yesterday, and they got 90% of the forming done. So concrete's happening first thing Monday morning. That will be a huge leap forward. Now, we're confident that we're actually going to be able to buy the farm. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing that. That would be, a couple of thousands of dollars in the wrong direction for us. But we're confident we can get the farm, so we're just going to go for it. Now, to that end, I need the cows not to be there when we pour the concrete. And I need the cows not to be there today because I need to clean the barn finally and get some other stuff set in place. So hopefully my plan is they will come out here today, they will graze. They'll probably devastate this today because they're chomping at the bit for fresh grass. And then along about tomorrow, or tonight rather, tonight I will feed them in the barn, not where we've been feeding them, but go ahead and feed them in the barn so that I gotta run these pigtails. We'll feed them tonight in the barn so they're not out here. It will also help buy time for the grass to recover ahead if I feed them half days. For, let's see, I got 2 more silage bales left, so it's gonna be about another 4 days, maybe more if we get, maybe another week if we give them half days. So that's kind of my plan. Graze them out here either during the day, or if it's really hot this coming week, I know we're supposed to get some days in the 80s, upper 80s, so maybe feed them in the barn during the heat of the day, let them out here at night. It's a little cooler, a little nicer in the field at night. So that's kind of my plan going forward. It's the 28th of June today. So definitely headed into July. And fingers crossed we don't have a drought. I'm hoping that there wasn't so much rain, because it was a deluge, that it didn't wash all that fertilizer out that I just put down. Fertilizer really wants gentle rain, and to wash it in slowly before it washes out. So hopefully that didn't happen. Well, cows are back out on pasture, half days. They spent yesterday grazing the area at the bottom of the hill. I did leave the heifers in overnight because it just gives them, they get the least amount of feed, so they can graze at night without the big cows harassing them. They get a little better nutrition that way. We're just coming up on that area that I have now overseeded, but it was also so severely damaged in the field. And to look at it on the surface, it doesn't look that bad. You can hardly notice where that big brown buddy stripe was earlier. But you get up and close, you can see, unfortunately, there's a lot of seed coming up, and stuff has grown in to fill it in, but it's just not as thrifty as on either side of the area. But it's actually recovered better than I thought. So fortunately, we got a lot of rain yesterday, but we're only grazing half days for the next few 3 or 4 days more, and then we'll let the cows out. The grass ahead of them here isn't great, but over the brow of the hill it gets a little better. Where the heifers are now, it is a nice stand. It's knee deep on me, and it's all lush, not stemmy, it's all leafy. It's perfect condition for grazing. So we'll, fingers crossed, we'll get away with it. But yeah, like right here, not great. Still a lot of bare patches, but to look at it, it's not horrendous. It's just every so often the grass isn't full, and areas like this are pretty sparse. So I'd say it's about 60%. 40% isn't great. The good news is, after yesterday's heavy rains, this part of the field isn't saturated. There's no standing water where there has been. That's great. But this does need fixed, does need to be rolled. Hopefully there's enough grass out here to feed the cows. I better get back and tighten up the reel, because it looks like Joy's starting to get under it. hard physical labor. First thing in the morning, we did a concrete pour. We finally got the feed rail slab done and the little slab for the grain bin. So now we can start saving money. And now the cows should have an easier time, and I should have a much easier time feeding them in the barn. So thanks to the help of Chris and Zach, got this done finally. We're a little short, about a quarter yard short, and that's probably my fault. I rounded everything up and still ended up short. I'll just have to hand mix the little bit there because they're not going to send a truck back with a quarter yard for this. I don't want to pay the price. So the critical part's done, where I got to put the grain bin and slab down there. We'll put a shed roof over that eventually, maybe sooner than later. And then we got overflow for calves. We've got storage. I can put hay in here. I can feed the bales. I can park the skid steer on this slab if I need to. Gives us a lot more options. I'm going to get to finish edging the slabs and finish them off, and then they get a broom finish, so they're a little rough, but not, they don't want to be smooth along the feed area, but broom finish everywhere else. Well, I did a thing. After resting for quite a bit of the day, after pouring the concrete, after not getting a good night's sleep, after working my tail off yesterday, I came out and I assembled the base of the grain bin. Now the big question is, I put it up on the legs they told me to put it up on because we're not going to be augering out of it only. We're also going to be putting the skid steer bucket under there and shooting grain into it and feeding the pigs and whatever. So, because the idea is to cut down on our feed costs, we're going to buy bulk grain, but it's going to get fed to everybody. And that ensures that we go through it fast enough so that it doesn't mold in the bin, because we do have a small herd. Eventually, if we grow in size, we have room on the slab for a second bin of a different kind of feed. So the idea is that I will have to put the top up there. The excavator barely put that up. So I know I have a boom for the skid steer that might be able to lift the top up there, but I'm not sure. And do I really need the legs? Because I've added these 2-foot legs on. The bin outlet, or the bottom of the cone, seems awfully high, but then there is some chutes and things to be added to it. So we'll see what happens. It's getting late in the day. I think I'm going to leave it at this. I didn't intend to get this far. I was just going to kind of catalog the material, and one thing led to another, and I got the frame put up, and then I decided to bolt it to the new concrete slab that was only poured this morning. I should probably think about stripping the forms on the slab, but we ran a quarter yard short, so I do have to add some concrete to this end. It's gonna be a pain to hand mix it, but it wasn't worth paying the extra costs to get the guys to come back, the crew to stay around, for a truck to deliver a quarter yard, which would have been 3 times the price or whatever, I don't know. Anyway, so we'll mix that up and finish it later. The critical part is the grain bin and the slab under the grain bin. So I am going to knock off, because I got to milk cows, but I think I have to pressure wash the cone, the outside, and I think the inside too. Let it dry for a few days before I finish putting the rest of it together. I'll do the same to the top, and we'll get this thing put up. Meanwhile, this slab, just being able to walk on it, just being able to be high up off the ground and in the right space and level and smooth is great. the cows, being able to feed the cows here now is like a dream come true. It's something I literally should have done. We should have paid the extra money to put this slab in and have the roof extend over it like a proper feed rail. I don't know what I was thinking when we built this barn and plans. I think the thing I was thinking was the barn was covered by a grant, but the feed rail and the slab and the extra roof were not. So it would have cost whatever it cost, but I was being short-sighted. And I didn't quite realize how we were going to use it until we started using it that way. And then we got these feed rail headlocks, which clank a lot, but are fantastic because we can catch the whole herd, do vet checks on them, put collars on them, put bells on them, look after them, whatever. You can catch them if you need to. And feeding here is great, it turns out. And I've built various systems of wooden bins and sloped feed things with pallets and lumber and all kinds of stuff through the last few years, 5 years or so. But nothing will beat the slab. I can put bales out here, push the feed up, the cows can eat it, it'll be clean, it'll be good. I'm gonna build a roof, shed roof off of this, and a little building. We can have calf pens out here, we can store extra hay out here. This is gonna be a very useful space going forward. And so I am so pleased to get this work done and so pleased to look over and see that bin up, or starting to be up.